According to the National Electrical Code, specifically Article 334.15, when a hole is drilled through studs, joists, rafters, or similar members, the cable or raceway must be protected. Acceptable protection methods include a conduit, electrical non-metallic tubing, or a listed cable protector approved for this purpose. Consider the situation where there's a 1 and 1/2 inch space between the siding and the posts. This could potentially be interpreted as a hole. If Romex is run through this space, protective measures such as conduit, electrical non-metallic tubing, or a listed cable protector would typically be required. However, there's an exception outlined in Article 334.15b. This exception states that if the cable or raceway is run through a bored hole in a single wood member, and that member is at least 1 and 1/4 inches, which is approximately 32 millimeters thick from the inside edge of the hole to the nearest edge of the member, then protection against nail penetration is only required within 1 and 1/4 inches or 32 millimeters of the member's edge. In the scenario involving 6/6 frame posts which are thicker than 1 and 1/4 inches, and where the Romex passes through a bored hole in a single wood member, an argument could be made that additional conduit or cable protector isn't necessary. It is important to remember that the National Electrical Code sets only the minimum safety standards. Local building codes or authorities may have more stringent requirements. Some jurisdictions, for instance, might mandate that all Romex be run through conduit, even when it's inside single wood members. The best practice is to always consult your local building department. They can provide clarity on the specific requirements applicable to your area. This ensures compliance with all relevant codes. The electrical work should always prioritize safety and adherence to regulations. Understanding the National Electrical Code and local amendments is crucial for a safe and compliant installation. Always verify with local authorities to ensure compliance with any regional modifications or additions to the National Electrical Code. This includes understanding any specific interpretations or enforcement practices that may be unique to your area. Failure to comply with local codes can result in failed inspections, costly rework, and potential safety hazards. Consider several key aspects to ensure a safe and compliant electrical installation. Firstly, properly size the circuit breaker for the intended load to prevent overcurrent situations. Secondly, use appropriately sized conductors for the amperage and distance of the circuit to avoid voltage drop and overheating. Thirdly, ensure all connections are tight and secure to minimize the risk of arcing and electrical fires. Fourthly, use appropriate boxes and fittings for the wiring method and environment to protect the conductors and connections. Fifthly, ground all metallic enclosures and equipment to provide a path for fault current and minimize the risk of electric shock. Sixthly, protect wiring from physical damage by using conduit or other approved methods. Seventhly, label all circuits clearly to facilitate future maintenance and troubleshooting. Eighthly, use ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, in areas where moisture is present to protect against electrical shock. Ninthly, install arc fault circuit interrupters, or RFCIs, to protect against electrical fires caused by arcing faults. Tenthly, perform regular inspections of the electrical system to identify and address any potential problems before they become hazards. The National Electrical Code provides detailed requirements for each of these aspects, and it's important to consult the code in any local amendments to ensure full compliance. When running Romex through wood framing, pay close attention to the fill capacity of the holes to avoid damaging the cable. The number of cables allowed through a single hole is limited to prevent overheating and potential insulation damage. Ensure that the holes are properly sized and that the cables are not excessively crowded. Also, consider using grommets or bushings to protect the cables from abrasion where they pass through the holes. When working with electrical systems, always prioritize safety. Firstly, to energize the circuit before working on it to prevent electrical shock. Secondly, use appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, such as gloves and safety glasses. Thirdly, follow lockout-tagout procedures to ensure that the circuit remains energized while you are working on it. Fourthly, double-check all connections to ensure that they are tight and secure. Fifthly, test the circuit after you have completed the work to ensure that it is functioning properly. Sixthly, if you are not comfortable working on electrical systems, hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. Electricity can be dangerous, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. The 1 and 1/4" setback rule is intended to protect cables from nails and screws that may be driven into the framing. However, it's important to consider other potential sources of damage, such as rodents or physical impact. In areas where cables are exposed to these risks, additional protection may be necessary. This could include using conduit, cable trays, or other approved methods. The specific protection required will depend on the nature of the risk and the requirements of the local electrical code. Remember that the ultimate goal is to ensure the safety and reliability of the electrical system. Consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector if you have any questions or concerns about the appropriate level of protection for your cables. In addition to the National Electrical Code, there may be other codes and standards that apply to your electrical installation. These could include local building codes, fire codes, and energy codes. It's important to be aware of all applicable codes and standards and to ensure that your installation complies with all requirements. Your local building department can provide information on the codes and standards that apply in your area. Failure to comply with these codes and standards can result in fines, penalties, and the need to rework your installation. Always take the time to research and understand the applicable codes and standards before starting any electrical work. When selecting electrical equipment and materials, be sure to choose products that are listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories, or UL, or Electrical Testing Laboratories, or ETL. Listed and labeled products have been tested to meet safety standards and are suitable for their intended use. Using unlisted or unlabeled products can be dangerous and may violate electrical codes. Look for the listing mark on the product and verify that the product is suitable for the intended application. In addition to the listing mark, be sure to check the product's voltage and amperage ratings to ensure that they are compatible with the electrical system. The NEC contains many tables and calculations that are used to determine the proper size and type of conductors, overcurrent protection, and other electrical components. These tables and calculations are based on factors such as the ampacity of the conductors, the ambient temperature, and the type of load being served. It's important to understand how to use these tables and calculations to ensure that your electrical system is properly designed and installed. Consult the NEC or a qualified electrician for assistance with these calculations. For example, NEC Table 310.15b16 provides ampacity ratings for various conductor types and sizes. NEC Table 220.42 provides demand factors for various types of loads. NEC Table 430.52 provides maximum overcurrent protection for motors. These are just a few examples of the many tables and calculations that are used in electrical design. The National Electrical Code is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and safety standards. It's important to stay up to date with the latest edition of the NEC to ensure that your electrical installations comply with current requirements. Your local library or bookstore may have copies of the NEC available for review. You can also purchase a copy of the NEC from the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, or from various online retailers. In addition to the NEC, there are many other resources available to help you learn about electrical safety and best practices. These include books, articles, websites, and training courses. Take advantage of these resources to expand your knowledge and improve your skills. The more you know about electricity, the safer and more confident you will be when working with electrical systems. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. If you are not comfortable working on electrical systems, hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. The National Electrical Code is a complex document, and it can be difficult to understand all of the requirements. If you have any questions or concerns about the NEC, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector. They can provide guidance on the specific requirements that apply to your situation. Don't hesitate to ask for help when you need it. Electricity is not something to be taken lightly. The NEC specifies requirements for working space around electrical equipment to ensure that workers have adequate room to safely operate and maintain the equipment. The amount of working space required depends on the voltage of the equipment and the location of any exposed live parts. The NEC also specifies requirements for illumination in working spaces to ensure that workers can see clearly. Before working on any electrical equipment, be sure to check the working space and illumination to ensure that they meet the NEC requirements. In addition to working space and illumination, the NEC also specifies requirements for access to electrical equipment. Electrical equipment must be readily accessible to qualified personnel for maintenance and repair. The NEC defines readily accessible as capable of being reached quickly for operation, renewal, or inspections without requiring those to whom ready access is requisite to climb over or remove obstacles or to resort to portable ladders, and so forth. Be sure to provide adequate access to all electrical equipment to ensure that it can be properly maintained. The National Electrical Code provides guidelines for the proper installation and support of electrical cables and raceways. Cables and raceways must be securely supported to prevent them from sagging or becoming damaged. The NEC specifies the maximum spacing between supports for various types of cables and raceways. In addition to support, cables and raceways must also be protected from physical damage. This can be accomplished by using conduit, cable trays, or other approved methods. When installing cables and raceways, be sure to follow the NEC guidelines for support and protection to ensure a safe and reliable electrical installation. The NEC contains specific requirements for grounding and bonding electrical systems to ensure that they are safe and effective. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip overcurrent protection devices and prevent electrical shock. Bonding connects all metallic enclosures and equipment together to create a low impedance path for fault current. The NEC specifies the size and type of grounding and bonding conductors that are required for various electrical systems. Be sure to follow the NEC requirements for grounding and bonding to ensure a safe and effective electrical system. The NEC provides specific requirements for overcurrent protection to protect electrical circuits and equipment from damage caused by excessive current flow. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to interrupt the flow of current when it exceeds a predetermined level. The NEC specifies the maximum overcurrent protection rating that is allowed for various types of circuits and equipment. Be sure to select overcurrent protection devices that are properly sized and rated for the circuits and equipment they are protecting. The National Electrical Code provides guidance on the proper selection and installation of wiring devices, such as switches, receptacles, and lighting fixtures. Wiring devices must be rated for the voltage and amperage of the circuits they are serving. They must also be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and the NEC requirements. When selecting wiring devices, be sure to choose products that are listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory. When installing wiring devices, be sure to follow the NEC requirements for box fill, conductor bending space, and grounding. The NEC contains specific requirements for electrical installations in hazardous locations, such as areas where flammable gases or vapors are present. Hazardous locations are classified according to the type and concentration of the hazardous material and the likelihood of its presence. The NEC specifies the types of electrical equipment and wiring methods that are permitted in each type of hazardous location. Electrical equipment used in hazardous locations must be specifically designed and tested to prevent ignition of the hazardous material. Be sure to consult the NEC and other applicable codes and standards when designing and installing electrical systems in hazardous locations. The NEC provides guidance on the proper installation and maintenance of electrical equipment. Electrical equipment must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and the NEC requirements. Regular maintenance is essential to ensure that electrical equipment operates safely and reliably. The NEC recommends that electrical equipment be inspected and tested periodically to identify any potential problems. Be sure to follow the manufacturer's recommendations for maintenance and testing. If you are not qualified to perform electrical maintenance, hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. The National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of rules and regulations that govern the safe installation and use of electricity. The NEC is constantly evolving to reflect changes in technology and safety standards. It's important to stay up to date with the latest edition of the NEC to ensure that your electrical installations comply with current requirements. The NEC is available for purchase from the National Fire Protection Association and from various online retailers. There are also many resources available to help you learn about the NEC, such as books, articles, websites, and training courses. The NEC is divided into several chapters, each of which covers a specific topic. Chapter 1 contains general information about the NEC, such as its scope, purpose, and organization. Chapter 2 covers wiring and protection, including requirements for overcurrent protection, grounding, and wiring methods. Chapter 3 covers wiring methods and materials, including requirements for conductors, cables, raceways, and boxes. Chapter 4 covers equipment for general use, including requirements for appliances, lighting fixtures, and motors. Chapter 5 covers special occupancies, including requirements for hazardous locations, healthcare facilities, and agricultural buildings. Chapter 6 covers special equipment, including requirements for electric signs, electric vehicles, and solar photovoltaic systems. Chapter 7 covers special conditions, including requirements for emergency systems, standby power systems, and fire alarm systems. Chapter 8 covers communications systems, including requirements for telephone systems, data networks, and cable television systems. Chapter 9 contains tables and examples that are used to illustrate the NEC requirements. The appendices to the NEC contain supplementary information that is not part of the code itself. The NEC is a complex document, and it can be difficult to understand all of the requirements. If you have any questions or concerns about the NEC, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector. They can provide guidance on the specific requirements that apply to your situation. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others. If you are not comfortable working on electrical systems, hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you.